here today, actually, when I was chatting with one of the staff, someone put the challenge back to me and said, well, isn't service learning where our values and education actually meet? Oh, wow, that's pretty powerful. I won't say terribly much about the jobs challenge and Lutheran Education's response because it's complex and very localised. But what will work and jobs look like in the future? And what role does school play in all of this? The idea of learning to learn that David talked about. But I could put some challenges out there. What's happening locally? Often opportunities and challenges kind of present themselves in the one issue. So Toowoomba is a multiculturally diverse community that has ongoing reputation for learning. You've had the university here for quite some time. So how do we think about that? What jobs and opportunities are there in an ongoing way? There's highs and lows and change associated with the mining out west, with being a hub for regional rural Australia. So I'm trying to think of Toowoomba, and I think an exciting thing that we're watching with interest, the international airport. That will create a global stage for Toowoomba. What does that mean? What kind of jobs will that create into the future? There's some wonderful opportunities for folk in this local area to be thinking. The technology challenge, again, we've talked and pondered that. But Lutheran Education provides opportunities for leaders and teachers to view and understand models, agile, contemporary learning. We've had study tours, site visits. Derek has been very active in this area. We connect with each other and experts within and outside Lutheran Education. So for ACL and since ACL, some of the best minds have come and worked with Lutheran schools. And LEQ supports a focus on technology and innovation. This is the one I just want to spend a few minutes on. Lutheran Education's response to the values challenge. Because this is something that I believe we spend time on and we do well. Our schools work to nurture values that reflect a Christian ethos. And you can see the values poster on the right as you look. Key values such as forgiveness, compassion, hope, humility. They are very important values that we want and as students and children to be thinking about. We've actually named the aspirations. So when the students leave the school gate for the last time, what do we want them to take in their kit bag? What will that look like? How will they, what have they become while they're with us, while they're with you as parents? Often when they leave for the last time, they also will be leaving home to study as well. Not necessarily. So do any of those qualities particularly ring true for you? Another important feature of Lutheran education, both for the adults and for students, we think vocationally about our life. We recognise that all humans are called to serve. As a Christian, I appreciate that I have been given everything. So what is my response? In thankfulness. All of us are called to serve in paid and unpaid capacities as students, parents, siblings, spouses, citizens, daughters, sons, educators, mentors. Some of them we call job, all of them we call vocation. So the vocation of student is valued here and now, for example, instead of always promoting, you must do this to become. Whenever I share that with teachers, they often go, oh wow, that's an interesting way of thinking about the students that are with me today. In summary then, Lutheran education principles that are important in the 21st century. We care about learners. And it is very important. We work in partnership with our families and communities. So it's encouraging schools to be sensitive to their local community and also to their local church communities. We emphasise how to learn as well as what to learn. So those skills. A well-rounded education includes a range of extracurricular activities. And just ask any teacher in the room here what other extracurricular responsibilities you have. They are many and varied. Developing social and relational skills are important alongside the development of intellectual skills. And as part of our focus on service learning, we also want to add cultural skills. There's actually an emerging trend that you say we have IQ, intellectual capacity, EQ, which is the emotional capacity. Now it's also CQ, cultural understanding, and appreciate and getting to know others who come from not only a different ethnic culture, might be age related, might be socio-economic related, it could be intellectually related. So how do we meet and get to know people who are different from us in an empathetic and sensitive way and build real relationships? That's a challenge. And finally, we have an ethos that emphasises hope, forgiveness and service that grows from our Christian values. So in summary, that's what we'd like to say is an emphasis here. And I know through the work that I've done at Concordia here, I want to affirm a lot of the things that I've seen in action. Last year was a big year with accreditation. And many of those aspects that I've talked about here are what I see as important. Those 4 challenges, though, that I spoke about at the beginning are not going to go away. If anything, they're going to intensify. And that's why I believe it's important to talk about the kind of student or the kind of child or adult that we want them to become. Not only what we're going to learn in terms of information. And once we broaden it out to be thinking carefully about those sorts of things, do we then say, yes, we can make choices about our content. We can make choices about our technology. We can make choices about a whole lot of things. But we are very sure and firm about the values upon which we are doing things in Lutheran education and in our schools and in this community too. So thanks for having me. I hope that's been a bit of a good tour through, and I hope that you take those challenges away. Maybe they can form a question that you ask in your environment or be thinking about and have a conversation in another place. Thank you.
My wife's not here, so I can talk about it. She's a great teacher, I don't mind saying that, and I've had the pleasure of being surrounded by lots of great teachers over the years. And she has changed the way she works. It's tools for the trade. She's always been a great teacher, she's still a great teacher. These days, typically, and she's a specialist in middle years, and she teaches a lot of year 7 and 8 classes. And I know, for example, that in her year 7 maths class, she teaches basically with an iPad mini in her hand, and it's got the textbook on it. It's not a big deal in the final analysis. It's wirelessly connected to her projector in her room, which again is not a big deal. Except what can be a big deal is that she uses a stylus pad. Remember, this is an iPad mini connected through Apple TV. To draw people's attention from that part to this part, because generally they have paper copies in front of them. Or it's a situation where she can hand that device around to students and collaboratively they either problem solve it, it's public, which is different, it's on the screen. Or it's a situation